Welcome to our Twin Flame Update. We're here to cover the Divine Masculine. For those of you that don't know, we do cover these weekly, and we are going to be creating resources for your path. Now, we have done some changes, and yes, those of you that have been following us may know, we are creating this edition, and tell me how you like it, in two methods. Now, I am going to introduce myself. For those of you that don't know, my name is Yildiz from Yildiz Readings. I'm a psychic medium, a twin flame, and a twin flame coach. Now, this edition is going to be covered in two steps before we dive into the cards. The first, we are going to go over what directly is happening for you. Then we're going to jump into how this directly is affecting the joint connection. And I think it's important that we do actually look at it in that context as we do move into each week. I did used to cover the joint connection, but my energy and attention has shifted towards the content and information for your path. So without further ado, let's get into the read for this week. Now, we have pulled the cards, and I do think that as we really are moving into this month, especially post-eclipses, especially connected to where we are on the path, this is a wrapping up this year, and it is a reconfiguration. It is really a point where we're trying to integrate and decide where we're going. And I'm noticing with the Divine Masculine at this point, they're really, from the crowning energy, having something really start in the beginning of the month. And I feel it's like they're coming through the gate and wanting to really have this new chapter, looking at the opportunities, looking at the information they've received, and really wanting to get things started. And we see from the overall energy, it can be that where they were coming from was a very interesting month, so to speak. But you as an individual Divine Masculine, I do feel you are going to need to trust your instincts. And it is about really thinking on your feet, being able to utilize that energy in the Trinity energy, being three, that it's very Mercury in nature. It's your thoughts, it's your actions, and it's your words. And it's this intent that you're moving into the month with, that you do really want to get the ball rolling and get some action done. Now, when we do look to the most recent past, it could have felt very confusing, especially in the context of last month's energy. No sooner were we coming up for air, things were moving. There could have been this pressure point and this distortion. And we do look to the past position, and this card is in the reverse. So I do feel you kind of had this revelation, and those circumstances, whatever directly they were in your life, it feels as though you have gained some clarity from it. So even though it might have turned your life upside down, it does appear to be that it has given you some context of where you want to go, what you are, and what directly you're dealing with. I feel you're actually moving into the month of October with more context. So it is about starting over. And for some of you, I'm noticing the cat on the card. And, this is a number 9, yeah. We do tend to look at the analogy and the connection of 9 as it can be very spiritual. It can be very Jupiter in nature. And really in the context of your belief systems, they could have been really reshaped. But again, it's also, okay, what direction is up? What way are we going? What is the information we're looking at? Even if you were in a karmic relationship, it also can link to that subject matter, and having faith in yourself. And I do feel it's really about reconnecting the dots. And I'm also feeling this cat with 9 lives. I keep hearing this kind of term, and the analogy they're giving me is you are quality assuring something and moving forward. And it doesn't have to be that you pull everything down to do with the way you're going to apply your approach. But I do think it can be about rejigging things so they work better for you. And I think this is really in the context of your own personal life, as well as the steps and the methods in which you want to approach the circumstance moving forward. Now, you're digging deep. You're digging deep into looking at things in the big picture. I do feel that luck is on your side. I do feel now you have the proper questions to ask in the context of this. I'm definitely seeing it's almost like I'm seeing a bubble chart, and I'm seeing you actually putting things on the plate, putting things on the table, moving things around. And it's like I can see this whiteboard, and it's almost like you're reconfiguring your life, and you're really becoming acutely aware of what you need to address and when and how you need to go about it. Some of this also is where you're willing to put your neck out to do with circumstances. And I'm getting this context, especially from this card, because you can see this giraffe in the heart of the read, is that you feel you'll put your neck out, but you want to put your neck out for the right reasons. You want to get from point A to point B. You also are only willing to do that for certain things, and you're more in alignment with what needs addressing, what you will and won't tolerate, who you do and don't want in your life, and who you're going to cut out. I do feel there's some spiritual protection around you, and you may feel the eyes are on you. But again, I feel you have that wisdom that is going to protect you from that, especially if there's any context in danger and fearing a circumstance. I feel there is a spiritual protection really guiding you. And you are going to be able to handle these things that do need a very, I could say gentle approach, but it's more a tactical approach, especially anything that has lingered for too long that needs addressing. And I think you're going to be very glad that some of these difficult circumstances you went through, because it's really clarified what you do and don't want and how you're going to tactfully approach these. I feel that because you have made these decisions, regardless of the current weather and events, you are going towards your goal. There can be some people around you that are feeling quite down, really feeling as though they're unmotivated, but it's almost like because you have physically chosen and you're taking direct steps, it's actually spiritually taking the pressure off you, and it's making you feel as though you are going to achieve those goals because you have actually taken the time, you've gained the clarity, and you might be watching other people that aren't completely in alignment. I do feel you distancing yourself, but I also feel you're able to deal with a very confronting situation that potentially can be toxic in a very tactical way, and it isn't affecting you the way it used to. I feel you're also letting people deal with their own dramas. We have lead the way. And, at first I was looking at this card and I thought, okay, it could be for some of you that you feel you don't really know how to approach it, but I'm really not getting that. I feel it's more you're taking your ship in the correct direction, and where maybe you felt you were being sabotaged, you're having this revelation that enabling also was sabotaging you. So it can be that you're just leaving people to their own devices. You're aware that this is their process and they have to learn, but you're also kind of, going under the radar and very, very self-focused at this point in time. And I think it's a very healthy approach for you to take in this instant. Now, you do know that this is going to take some time, and it has taken you a long time to get where you are. But what you are applying your energy to is going to be something that is very worthwhile. I do feel I'm getting the hustler energy, and I do feel this frequency where you're almost willing to, really push beyond it. So it could be late night hour, it might be getting more sleep. It also could be whatever the energy is being put into, they're showing me, it's not going to matter what hour it's at, because I feel as though for the right cause, you will be willing to put the energy into it. I still do feel there's a potential in the first week for levels of frustration. But again, I feel you're flowing with it. I don't feel you're fighting it. Yeah, you definitely are not fighting it. I do feel for some of you, this also can be really reviewing what is there, how do I place it? It feels the context is, getting your health right, getting your body right, getting your life right, auditing your paperwork, looking at what is and what isn't working, especially if there's a big picture. This could be getting some professional advice, but it's digging deep into the paperwork. It's digging deep into the data and the revelations of what you physically need. It's a little bit like packing your bag. You're getting ready for the future. You're setting off on a course, and you're not letting things get to you. Again, I just very much solidly get, especially from the top row, it is because you made a decision. So even if there is crap going on around you, I feel as though it's not going to affect you because you have made a decision. This is where you might not have everything perfect, and you do know, away from the ego, that there's always lessons to learn. There's always this openness. And you might not know why you're operating in this fashion, but it's really asking you to not get up in your head about it, to just trust the fact that your intuition is guiding you, trust the fact that you are deciding to do things in a different way. I feel this information is coming to you as you go. So it could be your method of dealing with this month is that you know that it's coming. You know something's coming. You have this instinctual feeling. You're like, right, I need to get my crap together. I need to get moving. I need to shuffle along. Things that weren't clarified have come to a head, and they have come full circle. October appears to be a time in which you are shifting and you are wanting to move these ships forward. You feel there is an urgency. And, it's almost like there could be a 3D circumstance to help you believe and to confirm it. And it's like, this crown off to the left, it's almost like you're very humble in your approach. You're looking at it, it might have been a point where you were like, no, that's not happening. And then suddenly this energy came in, these light codes came in, you felt as though you needed to shift, and you're having this revelation, gee, maybe, this isn't as crazy as it thinks. It's just these strange occurrences happening where things are lining up. So I do directly feel your attitude moving into the month is really trusting your instincts. And it could be that you're flowing. You're trusting your instincts. You're doing the things that you need to do. You're on the ball with it. When you do get up in your head, what you're going to have to do, especially from the second row, is not question it, because that's where you may find you do stumble. Now, we are going to look at the romantic connection and how this energy this week is directly connecting the dots to the bigger picture at a very separate level. I do feel, even if you're unaware of it, you may feel as though things are cropping up. This can be memories, this can be feelings, this can be the person's name. It does feel as though there is a frequency really coming into ethers, really getting your life into order. And when we get the Trinity energy, it is really getting those areas of life, body, soul, and spirit all in alignment. Now, we have had the last few months that have been quite hectic. You will be working on it as you do move into the months. This path, this connection, it does appear to be that it is shifting, and you intuitively can feel it. So these alignments and things, be it you're aware of it or not, they are coming into your life to guide you, and it is linking directly to this path. There can be some communication coming in. This might be you connecting, them connecting, or in the 3D. But regardless, it does feel there is a dramatic shift in the 3D occurring within the joint connection. Now, these questions you really were having in the past to do with things where you weren't quite sure how to bring this cycle about, how to have these things move. I do feel the last few months have given you this clarity. And whatever this is for you, it feels as though you're directly applying it to the here and now. And I think you really want to dig deeper. You do feel the story between you and your divine feminine is not over, and you do want to investigate. Even though in your soul and the heart of the matter, it might be that one or the other was very fearful of each other, and there could be some very difficult situations that you both need to work through. I feel this month you're going to be more ready to deal with it. This can be a time in which you are ready to deal with the elephant in the room, or a very difficult situation that you were very much fearing because you felt that it was going to bring sort of like the skeletons out of the closet. I do directly feel on this occasion, it's like you're aware that this is something that needs to be done, and you're pulling them out and you're being more open to it. And I think you're really going to flow with things. I feel that you're going to be open to the divine feminine, and you're aware that there could be some things that are coming up. And it feels almost like you're not shying away from it, and you're going to let that individual lead the way. I also feel they can be helping you to become more aware of who you are and some of the behavioral patterns that maybe be sabotaging you. They also could be giving you some information more from the intuitive level. And I don't feel this is, and you're really going to have to decipher this because we are entering into very changing times in 2026. But I do get this kind of feeling as though if you're open to things where you feel you have questions, I feel your divine feminine is going to fill in the gaps for you. You will know if there is a push-pull going on, and that push-pull is going to create imbalance. But if you're aware of it, you can just pause, you can step back a bit for that individual to come into alignment. And I feel that both parties can really see the situation through. Now, you do know this is going to take some time. This has been a very long time coming. And I feel the key to it is, wherever there is some offense or wherever there is some kind of frequency where you're feeling, gee, we keep getting into this rut, we keep getting into this mindset where things are getting stuck, I feel that's going to start flowing. And I feel it's because you're very much ready to actually get to the other side of this. And sometimes it's a little bit like an onion peel. We're pulling things back. And I feel on this occasion, you're sort of moving into it and looking at the direct connection and how you're operating inside of it and having a grand lesson. And this is something that's going to move you to that next level. You're actually going up the ladder. And again, you might not know why these things happen, but I'm going to pull a clarifier on this because I really do get the message that both of you together are a huge superpower, and both of you might not know why these things had to happen in a certain way, but I do feel for some reason this month divine feminine is going to fill in the gaps for you. I'm going to pull a clarifier and we're going to see what it's revealing, because I do feel this is quite important. Yeah, it's almost like is there a karmic lesson? Is that, sometimes it was a candid chat I had with a soul sister the other day, and we were talking about divine connections. And, within divine connections, sometimes we're like, gosh, this person's, it's like the language of love. Now, sometimes we can misunderstand what the other person's doing and why they do things. Other times it's about either leaning in and being in the uncomfortable so that we can see both parties' side of the frame. This connection is a very important connection. Don't shy away from it, even if it's difficult. And I do feel it's almost like, even if you're feeling not confident or you don't quite know the reasons why it's there, don't question it. Just keep moving forward, because I feel once you're on the other side of it, you're going to have more of a belief to do with this. And there can be some very synchronistic circumstances that help you come back into belief of this spiritual connection. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you do know this connection's here. Now, for those of you that don't know, we do actually cover these energies weekly. You can join us for the last super chat. They are going to be more so on the end of any lives. We did do our last super chat in September, and additional lives will actually host the super chat. So stay tuned for those updates. If you do want to join our Sage Inner Circle network, the landing page is via our website. All the information is directly below, and you can come through and sign up for that. Otherwise, we will see you next week for our updates, and hopefully you tell us how your twin flame path is going. Take care, and I'll see you soon.